Hey guys, well I've been doing a lot of work here on the Mercury and I thought I'd give you guys an update. I know it's been a little while since I videotaped anything, and I actually did take some pictures of it with the new bumpers on it, just mocking them up. And I posted those on our Facebook page, so if any of you guys have had a chance to check that out, definitely leave some comments and whatnot. But here's a video, just wanted to let you guys know what's been happening to it and what our current plans are. So right now on the back, I've actually got the front bumper, the stock front bumper from this car, and I actually took it, modified it a little bit, and have it bolted up here to the rear frames. I'd like to also weld it solid, so that way it won't be coming off at all. And I do have the shocks have been compressed, but they're starting to pull out a little bit. I'm going to drive them back in. Pulled them back out just so that way I could get the bumper bolted on. Still need to do a little bit of modification before it's finally bolted on, but right now it's in place and solid. It's definitely going to be a lot better than the old rear bumper that was on here that many of you hopefully remember. Continued stripping this thing out. Got most of the interior out now. Pretty bare bones. Hardly any rust in the inside, really. It's just all dirty. Still got a bunch of wiring up in here, but this is all going to get cut out because, as I stated on Facebook, for any of you that have been following us, we decided to switch the motors out, and we are not going to run that stock 5.0 liter motor. In fact, it is no longer in the car. And so I also got the front fenders here bent back a little bit. Got the nice tires on here that'll be running the Derby. Got the whole front end torn apart. I took the bumper, the stock front bumper off and put that on the back. And I did have that Thunderbird bumper temporarily bolted on the front for any of you that saw those pictures. But I have since taken that off, took out the core support, took out the wheel well covers. We pulled the motor and transmission out of it, which were running, but not all that great, I have to admit. Apparently it must have lost a vacuum line at some point when we were tearing this apart, and it just wasn't running very good. But needless to say, we pulled that all apart, and then yesterday evening I went and completely degreased this whole front end. It was just, if any of you remember from my last video, the old original owners just kept putting oil into this thing, and it was leaking oil really bad around the valve cover gasket. So it encased this whole front end with just solid oil. So I ended up taking a putty knife and a container, and I scraped a whole lot of grease and oil off this thing, and then I completely degreased it and washed it. So now you can actually see there's paint on the frame, and obviously you got your general rust from just it sitting around and actually being used as a car. But it's significantly cleaner than it was as of yesterday, so that's definitely good. I got most of this stuff eliminated, all the wiring, most of the vacuum lines that we won't need. Just got the main one for the master cylinder there, so the brake booster I should say, sorry. And got the power steering pump saved. We're going to try to bolt that up to the engine that's going in. The engine that's actually going in this car, or at least is currently planning to go into this car, is a 351 Windsor. Yes, a Ford, for all of you guys who like to run your Chevys. We do not have a Chevy around here, so I have a Ford motor that is actually on a mini rod pulling tractor that I built back in high school and used to race around here in northern Ohio, northern Indiana, and southern Michigan. Maybe some of you saw it out there. It was called Red Thunder. And it's a 351 Windsor, completely naturally aspirated. It's a complete roller motor, solid lifters and cam. Thing runs like a beast, and it's going in this car, so it's going to be a pretty mean thing when I get it all done. But it's still a work in progress. Got a little less than 3 weeks left to go till the Derby, so definitely got to keep plugging along and getting this thing done, but we'll get it done. I will get it done. But needless to say, when that thing is in here, it's going to be pretty mean, and I'll probably be featuring a video here shortly of the actual motor itself, so that you guys can check it out and see it. Unfortunately, it's already out of the pulling tractor, so I won't be able to start it up for you guys until it's in this car, which I guess means you just have to keep checking in for updates if you want to hear that beast run. So But it looks good. It's got chrome valve covers, and it's going to have some nice air cleaners and stuff on it, so this ought to be a pretty mean looking car. And it'll run really good. That engine's been nothing but dependable for me, so, and it's easily pushing over 300 horsepower. For a 351 Windsor, that's a pretty good ratio for me. So, definitely have to keep working to modify. This was a 302 block, which was in here, and the Windsor is very close. The motor mounts line up perfectly. The only issue is the oil pan may have some issues of clearing, but we'll make it work. If we have to modify the engine mounts, we modify the engine mounts, but we'll make it fit in here. The overall length for the transmission to the back is to where the support is almost identical to the one with the Windsor, so hopefully it'll be a quick bolt in and go. I already tried out the drive shafts, and the drive shaft slides right into the transmission that was on that pulling tractor as well, so that ought to be pretty nice and hopefully save us some time. So I got the drive shaft out here, and motor mounts, degreasing those and getting them cleaned up before I bolt them up to the nice motor and whatnot, but getting this all cleaned up, looking good. Got the front bumper shocks drilled and compressed. That one got pulled out because we were using it to tow it around, and it just pulled itself out a little bit. But this one's compressed. We are allowed to weld it, so I would like to do that if at all possible, but one of the other local fairs that we would like to run this if there's still life in it almost has identical rules except for the fact you can't weld your bumper shocks, so I might just not weld them. So still deciding on that. I'm trying to cater to multiple sets of rules, and it's difficult at times for sure. Continue walking around. Again, all this electrical wiring, this huge bundle from around the motor, this is all going to get cut out and recycled. Stock front seat belt. Going to have a roll cage going in here. I have to do horizontal bars across the front and the back, and the driver's door. I guess I don't have to, but definitely am going to. So I'm going to have a bar going across the back seat, one across the dash area, one across the driver's door, and one across the passenger door as well. Still have to weld up all the doors. The rear end, I'm going to weld that solid, have a nice positive traction rear end. I also plan on creasing the rear fenders as well as the front fenders, and time permitting probably even work on the doors a little bit as well. The trunk, I know a lot of you guys like to tuck it in, but I'm going to try a slightly different strategy. I'm going to pull it down in the back, and I'm allowed to wire to the rear bumper. So I'm just going to wire this thing tight and hope that it all packs right in. I'm going to put a crease down the center of the trunk, hopefully, and then let it fold up there. So we're just going to try a slightly different technique and see if it works. Hopefully it does. It worked well on the town car. It pulled the frame upwards and kept the trunk all together. But again, try it out, see how well it works. So there you go, just a quick walk around on what's been happening with the Mercury. Still got a whole lot of work to do, a little less than 3 weeks to get it all done, but I am finally home now. I was doing an internship, but I'm finally home, so I'm going to have a lot more time to devote to this thing in the next couple weeks and make sure to get it done. So keep looking in for updates, look for the video of the motor that's actually going in this thing, and then until the next update, I will talk to you later, guys.